All right, guys, I think we're live. I think we're live. So let me know if everybody can hear me okay, and then we'll get started. Sorry, I kind of came in a couple minutes late, a few minutes late. It's a little bit. It takes a few minutes to get this thing booted up. It's not like before where I would just grab my phone and just hit the live button, which we'll probably start doing those again soon for you guys, because I can at least go out in the garage and stuff, or show you guys around the shop and stuff like that, and talk about different things that are actually there. Reason why we started going this way is because we can do a little bit more interactive stuff with you guys, and I can show you guys my screen. We can share a screen. We can search for stuff, and at least this doesn't seem to crash. Seems to be more stable, because when I was using the phone for the lives, it was just crashing all the time because the phone kept overheating. So, anyways, let me know if you guys can hear me okay, and then we'll get moving. We'll start tonight's live. So I'll just read some of your comments so far. Isaac, who GE? What's up, man? What's going on, Isaac? Joey, it's 8 already. Yes, sir. It's actually past 8 now, but you guys are probably here earlier than I was. What's up, Alex? What's up, AG? What's up, George or Jorge? Jack Sand Racing, what's up? Dario with the bang. All right, so a few things. I kind of just gonna freestyle with you guys tonight. Whatever you guys want to talk about, we can kind of just go off the cuff and talk about a bunch of different stuff. And then I'm sure you guys want to know what the deal is with the Hellcat thing, so we can get into that today too. I was struggling with doing the cutout stuff today. Trying to get the electric cutouts on for you guys on the Ram, but I gotta take off the mid pipes to do it. And those bolts they've been on there for like 15 years, so the ones that are on the exhaust, and I'm sure you guys can imagine how hot the exhaust gets on that Viper. It's like trying to get that hardware out there is just a nightmare by myself. So I'm trying to get those off, and then I have to like cut the mid pipes and weld on the cutouts. And I want to do it on the floor because I'm not that good of a welder. At least if I can do it on the floor, I can see my bead. I'm not like good enough to get up there and start welding upside down yet. So, yeah, I'm sure like a pro could probably just cut it on the truck and put the cutout on and just weld it up like nothing. But for me, when I can't see what I'm doing, because I'm still just have to exactly see what I'm doing since I don't know what I'm doing, I got to do it on the floor. So taking off the mid pipes, it's a pain, but that's what we're doing. Let's see. Santa says, "Hey man, why did you sell your Ram 1500? I put the same wheels on mine you had on yours." The reason why I sold my 4th gen Ram is because I made all the videos that I wanted to make with that truck. If you guys have been following along with the channel for a while, you'll know that I pretty much took that whole entire 2014 truck apart. Not all at once, but like I took the majority of the stuff apart and put it back together. And I did a lot of the maintenance items, front brakes, back brakes, diff fluid, rad fluid, or coolant, whatever, thermostats. The list goes on. You guys know how to take off the headlights, how to take off taillights, how to upgrade the fog lights, and like everything. So I did all that stuff, and I felt like we were starting to make the truck pretty fast, right? We went 12.1 in the quarter with the Pro Charger kit. I'm pretty much a fully loaded 4th, crew cab, but the reason why I sold it is because I was kind of bored of it, honestly. I wanted something. It seemed like everybody was really interested in trying to, make a fast truck, and I just felt like that was the wrong truck to do it with. And the reason why I thought that was because it was a sport already. It was fully loaded. It was like the heaviest model of a 4th gen Ram you could possibly get because it had like every single option. So I just felt like we were gonna go for like the sport race truck thing. I wanted to get like a tradesman, something that's like bare bones, like roll up windows and like doesn't have any options, and we could like gut it and do the whole thing properly. So that was the reason for selling it. And I don't know. In retrospect, I maybe would have kept it, but even at the time when I had the YouTube channel, then like it's doing better now. But I didn't have like the funds to be able to have all these multiple vehicles. It's still pretty tight right now trying to do it, but. Yeah, that's the reason why I sold it, and I got pretty good money for it at the time when I got rid of it. But all the 4th gens have gone crazy in price. Crazy. Like I bought my 4th gen Sport. It had 90,000 miles on it when I bought it. I bought it from a Honda dealership, and I paid. This is a 2014, and I bought it in Christmas, just before Christmas of 2015. So it was pretty much almost 2 years old. But it was like a year, technically a year old, but it was like almost 2 years old. And I only paid like 22 grand for that truck when I bought it. And then when I traded it in, I pretty much got 17 for it. So, and I owned it for like 3-4 years. So I thought I did all right, but now the prices of them are gone crazy on those 4th gens. But yeah, and I've had a few of them too. I mean, I don't know the way things are going right now. Like I wouldn't mind having something like that, just to jump in something that's comfortable, because that was a really nice truck. But we'll see. We got so many different race projects right now. It's kind of fun. And I mean that tied up a ton of money for me, because I was paying like, I think I didn't go that many payments, so I think it was like $500 a month pretty much. So I got rid of that payment, which was nice. And then having this roof over my head didn't help as far as monthly income. Next question. Billy Poot. Fellow Dakota owner here from NorCal. Love the Dakota content. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's we've been doing a lot of just regular Dakota content for a while, and yeah, I think we've covered quite a bit. I won't say everything, and I'm not claiming to be like an expert at Dakotas, but yeah, we covered a lot of content so far, and then now we're gonna get a little bit wild with mine. And then I know some people were asking, and I was talking to Jason today too about his Dakota. If you guys are new to the channel, you don't know who Jason is. Jason's the one that owns the black Dakota RT that's here as well. So that one we did heads cam, and since I'm you guys already know, I'm pretty much bailing on my Magnum on my engine. We're probably going to put the Pro Charger kit that was on mine. It's going to go on Jason's, because he's actually got a boost cam in his. So he's going to have, his should be a pretty good package. So he's already got the heads. He's got a cam spec for boost from Flying Ryan. And he's already got Spin Tech headers. And he's got a Hughes air gap on his. So that thing should be making some pretty decent power. But you got to remember, that's part of the reason why I didn't really go down that path, because I didn't want to, if we were going to do the Hellcat thing, I didn't want to sink too much money into my Dakota and then it kind of go to waste. So that's why I kind of just kept, I didn't go too crazy. I wanted to put a cam in it, at least have some fun with it, which we accomplished. It's pretty much had a cam in it for majority of this year. But yeah, so like I said, we're going to be getting back to Jason's truck here shortly. I was just talking to him today. Probably next weekend, I think we're going to try to do a bunch of stuff. He actually got, I'm not going to forget the name of it now. You guys probably know the name of it. He got those new control arms, those ones that there's somebody in Canada or something making control arms for the Dakotas, the custom ones. So apparently he's got 2 sets, one for his truck, one for my truck, of those control arms. So we're going to be installing those and getting all the suspension dialed in too. So you guys will get to see those get installed and how that all works too. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Joshua, can't wait for the Hellcat swap. Should be crazy. I know, man. I'm so pumped to just see what that thing's going to do. It's going to be fun. I don't know what else to say. It's going to be fun. I'm still going to reveal how much I paid for it and stuff. I just wait until I get everything here and make sure I'm not missing any parts, because the price might go up if we forget something and then we got to add something into the package or whatever. But I think it's a pretty reasonable price. Like I said, we'll let you know what the end all be all price is once we get it. But it's I should have it Monday, Tuesday. So as you guys saw, the engine and transmission was out on the ground. A lot of the components were already out. So we're just waiting until everything is out, and then I'm gonna go pick it all up and settle up as far as the money goes. So, but it is locked in. Yeah, that's already a done deal. So we're getting it. The only nerve-wracking part for me is making sure that the thing actually starts. So literally, pretty much the same day that I get everything, get all the stuff here, I am gonna be just trying to put that thing together on the floor. Like same way you guys see like, you know, Cleveland Power or whatever, or Performance, how they have it all on the pallet. I'm not necessarily going to have it strapped all neatly to a pallet, but I'm going to lay out the harness, hook power to it, make sure all the modules are there, and I'm going to have the gas tank. I should have the fuel line so I can connect it all, and I want to see if I can get this thing to fire. So if I can get it to crank, even if it just starts to crank, because I mean the security system won't let it crank whatsoever. So if it cranks, then we're pretty much good. But I'll probably take it the extra step, hook up the fuel lines, and get it to fire as well. So that's going to be like a sigh of relief for me, just knowing that we have absolutely everything, the modules and everything to get this thing to run. So that's going to be this week. So like I said, I should have everything here Monday, Tuesday. And then if all goes well, I should have the engine sitting on the ground, you know, able to start and run next week. And then I can not relax necessarily, but just kind of like chill out a little bit and start piecing together the rest of the puzzle. So then I can actually get, you know, start ordering the mounts, the swap headers. We got to get a different oil pan. Got to get a different oil pickup tube. There's a bunch of stuff. And then, yeah, gotta figure out, figure out how far we want to go with this swap. I mean, I was almost thinking, like, originally I just like, all right, if I can get the engine to run, cool, whatever. And then once we started, like, including, like, I know I showed you and told you that the dash is pretty much annihilated, but once it kind of, like, clicked in that, technically speaking, I could have, like, a newer 2019 car in my Dakota, I was like, wait a second. So I'm almost wondering, and I gotta talk to them and see if they don't include it, I'm gonna maybe ask them, because part of the thing I was thinking of is if I'm gonna have the gauge cluster, I'm gonna have every single module under the dash. I'm gonna have, like, you guys know how the newer stuff is, the latest Dodge stuff, where it has like the volume button and the fan, and it's all like there, and then the touch screen's above it. Like, I'm gonna have all those switches, and if you guys saw the way the engine is, like, the AC lines are all connected to the condenser, and everything is right there. So technically speaking, if this thing's gonna be running and thinking that it's, you know, that car, I could turn on my climate control from the touch screen or from those knobs. So I gotta try to make a decision. Are we just gonna take all the guts of this electronics thing and just stuff it under the dash and just, as long as it runs, or are we gonna go the extra mile and try to put that dash in there somehow and make it so that when we turn the AC on that touch screen, or hit the dials from the charger, like, you know, all the climate control stuff, or the stereo even, is it going to work in the Dakota, or we just do all we care about is just the engine? So that's where I'm kind of like, we could technically take this another step further, more than I initially planned. So that's some stuff we got to think about. I'm sure you guys probably want to chime in on some of that stuff too, because it is obviously an option. It's just, how far do we take this is the thing. So, I mean, there's only the other thing too is, like, no matter what, if we end up getting, like, we're getting the gauge cluster and stuff, and if we put it in there, that gauge cluster is going to look like a Christmas tree going off, because we're not going to have, you know, all the airbags and ABS sensors and all that stuff for the car. So it's going to be going crazy half the time. So I'm going to have to figure that out, whether we're gonna, I don't know if I'm gonna try to disable some of the lights in the cluster. I know a lot of times newer clusters, they have like a little screen in the middle, so it's gonna be going crazy, you know, showing us that there's, you know, stability control doesn't work, or this doesn't work, or that doesn't work. I'm not too worried, because we can always flash all that out with HP tuners, but it's just, yeah, it's like, how far do we take this, and to what extent, right? So that's my thoughts. Let me catch up to you guys in the comments. You guys are getting buck over here. Patrick, hey, what's up? What's up, Patrick? Dario, did the map light LED panel upgrade, and honestly, the single best mod I did from your 4th Gen RAM. It's so nice to be able to see. Dario bought the innovated kit, or innovated kit, and hilarious. I think he means Hikari fogs. Have to install next. Yeah, you're gonna really like the HIDs for the low beams and the Hikari fog lights. They're really good. Oh, hold on a second. I just saw something pop up. Enrique, Enrique just donated 25 bucks. Thanks, Enrique. What's Enrique saying? Hey, John, it's been a crazy journey with the Dakota RT from the beginning, it being a farm truck to now, I know it's come a long way. From farm truck to now, it's a huge difference. And what comes ahead. Great job and amazing work. Definitely excited for the Hellcat swap. Cheers to you. Thanks, buddy. No, I appreciate it, Enrique. And Enrique's always been a good supporter of the channel, too. That's not the first time I've seen Enrique donate. So thank you again, Enrique. Yeah, I mean, that truck, if you guys don't remember the Dakota RT, like when we first got it, it was in rough shape. I don't know if you guys remember. I almost feel like pulling up the video originally. Let's do that. Let's see if I can. I wonder if the audio comes through for you guys. Let's see. Because when I'll try it in a second, but I want to show you guys the video of when we first got the Dakota RT. Because I know a lot of people have joined since then, and I don't know if everybody's gone back and seen those videos. But that thing, so the story with that Dakota is, after we sold the 4th gen Ram, because we already told that story, I was kind of just looking for another project, and I don't know, I was just curious what was out there. And I saw that Dakota RT in the middle of nowhere. It was out on a ranch, like literally a farm. And the guy said that he used it on his ranch or farm, and he wasn't lying. The whole bed of that truck was like full of hay. The interior was all full of hay and dirt and whatever. And it had like aggressive all-terrain tires on it, like oversized, and even so much that they kind of rubbed on the fenders a little bit too. And it did not look like no Dakota RT when I got it. But to see the transformation of how it looked originally to now is nuts. Let me see if I can pull it up for you guys, and then I'll get back to some of your questions here. Let me just go to the YouTube. I'm just wondering if the audio will come through. I really don't know. We'll try. We'll see if it comes through. Farm truck Dakota. Give me 1 second. I'll see if I can pull it up. Because I have a feeling like not a lot of people watched this or saw it. Dodge Dakota. Let me just pull this up. I really have a feeling you guys never saw it. Let me see. Okay. So, let me pull this up and see if you guys can see this. Let me just switch screens here. Alright. So, this was, and like, look at the tires that are on it. This was the, like, they had like all-terrain tires now, like grippy tires, and they were huge. That's just me clowning, but let's see. So, like here's the like the walk around. The
a little bit bent from whatever accident it sustains, but
look at that thing.
Yeah, we'll see what we got once we clean it up and go from there.
This was us pressure washing all the hay out of it. Like, look at how nasty it was back there. You and I watched this nuts. Like, look, I'm getting right in there. It's disgusting. Look at all that nasty crud coming out of there. Those ugly headlights. Woo.
Okay, guys, so the truck is clean and it looks way better already.
But I don't know. Some of you guys might have already seen this, but
this crack through the windshield.
Like the windshield was cracked. I replaced it. I think I would go through all the stuff.
Put a Pioneer deck in there, and
like look at the stereo.
They did a terrible job getting it in there.
It was
so
just
this
hanging.
is like some cheap molding job, and they like cut in there. And if I move the vents, you can see the whole stereo. Like
it's been a while since I watched this, you guys. Like the glove box still
nobody's open it, so we'll have to.
But I popped it open manually.
Don't let yourself out.
Oh yeah, you get locked inside.
That there was something wrong with the.
Yeah,
didn't have any issues with it, but it does have.
That thing is. Oh, I think it's going to an ad, so whatever. We'll pause it here. But yeah, guys, that was. Let me go back. Let's go back to the main screen here. We don't need to watch these clowns. Yeah, like that thing has come such a long way. It's just nuts. So there's a lot of stuff wrong with it. We fixed it. It had leaking power steering rack, like all sorts of leaks coming out of that thing. Like there was a lot of stuff seriously wrong with that thing. And yeah, it's just come a long way. So thanks, Enrique, again. I can't thank you guys enough for donating, for contributing. Like I said, I'll reveal how much I dropped on that Hellcat swap next week. It's a lot of money, guys. Like, I mean, it's a reasonable price. I think it's a fair price, but at the end of the day, it's a lot of money. So, I want to talk about something else for a second. Just let me grab a drink here. So, like I said, I will tell you guys how much I paid once everything's said and done and we have it here. But I saw a lot of people throwing out different numbers, some high, some low. Some actually pretty close to what we're gonna end up paying. But I just want to let you guys know that part of the problem with trying to source out like a Hellcat swap is trying to make sure you get a legit one. And obviously, with what we're doing here and everything, like I want to have a legit one, and not that would be trying to not get a legit one, but I mean, you would be surprised trying to find an engine swap that is actually legitimate. That's why, like, you guys know right there, like that car got crashed, went to an insurance auction. I'm buying it from a salvage yard legitimately with paperwork and everything. Like, you can see the story behind that car, right? But you would not be surprised, or you maybe would be surprised when you go on eBay and you see some of those different ones. Like, I had to, because I messaged some people, like, as soon as I told you guys I was going to do this, I went on the hunt for them. And there was a lot of ones that were fishy. And I don't want to say too much, but, like, there's a lot of fishy sales out there. And I had to, like, poke and prod, okay, why is the engine out of the thing? Like, what happened to the car? Like, why did this thing get parted out? Why is there an engine here? Do you have this? Do you have the PCM? And, like, I would poke and ask a few questions, and sure enough, like, several of them, like, it got weird, right? So I'm just letting you know that, I might have paid more than, what some of you guys have seen them for sale, but just know that a lot of them out there there's something up with them. So, like, for example, if you see one that, obviously you can see the car that I got it from. Luckily, unluckily, however you want to look at it, wasn't a front impact for our sake, right? And the fact that it was, totaled on the side and everywhere else, the engine compartment was still intact. So, whereas most people, like, I don't know what the statistic is, but most people usually crash from the front, right? So, when you see one that's, on eBay and it's got everything there and, the rad and the condenser and everything is perfect, you have to kind of raise an eye and make sure that you're getting it from a legitimate source. Not saying you guys are necessarily going out and, buying a Hellcat swap, but just something to consider, and I'm kind of just sharing my experience with you guys and trying to make sure that, getting a legitimate one. So, with that being said, like, there's some that you can find, like some guys were guessing 8-10 grand. If you can get a full Hellcat swap for 8-10 grand, chances are I don't know what that was. Big bang. Chances are there's something wrong with that swap. And if you guys look, if you guys don't know, there's a lot of theft that goes on around Michigan area, like Detroit and stuff. Like, a lot of cars get stripped over there. And there's a ton of Hellcat swaps out there for, like, stupid cheap. Like, watch. I'll jump back over here since we have the browser. I'll just kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. So if we go to here, I'll share my screen. That way you guys can see. So if we go to, like, OfferUp, for example, and we go Hellcat swap, and you'll see a bunch of like, look, well, obviously it's not $111, but watch, guarantee it's gonna be out of Michigan. Oh, Illinois. So, like, this is a fishy sale, right? Like, why does this guy have the entire car and there's no price on it and there's no history on the guy? I mean, maybe it could be legit, but watch, I'll show you a couple more. Usually they say, like, Michigan or something on them. Hellcat swap, we'll do Hellcat engine, because I've been searching. I searched high and low to find this thing. And I should be able to give you guys an example here. Let's see. There you go. Like, watch, it'll be from Michigan. One of these will be for sure. So here you go. Flint, Michigan. $7,500, you guys, for engine and transmission 8 months ago. So this is like what I'm saying. These engines are not this cheap. And the engine with the transmission is not that cheap. It's just, it doesn't add up. And the fact that it's got like, you know, you can see they unbolted it from the cross member. Like, you just got to watch out. So like I said, I'm not saying you guys are, you know, going out and doing the exact same thing here. But, you know, just know. Like, look at this one. Another one from Michigan, right? $6,500 for engine, transmission, everything. Like, it doesn't make any sense, does it? It really doesn't add up. So, anyways, like I said, I'm not here to pick apart other people's ads, but I'm just saying that you gotta really watch what you're buying, because there's a lot of fishy stuff out there. But let me hop back over to you guys. I'll get back to some of your comments. Let me switch screens for me. Let's see. Oh, hold on. KJI, am I saying that right? KJI Nicholas just donated $25. Thank you, sir. Let's see what he's saying. Here's to the future of the Dakota. Can't wait to see how you cram the setup in that little truck. Thank you. I appreciate it. No, like I said, you guys know that I'm dropping a ton of money. There's no secrets there. So thanks again for sending that, man. Like, you guys know it's going to good use. Yeah, as far as cramming that in there, when I found out last week that that you could just bolt it up, or was it a week ago or 2 weeks ago now? When I found out you could bolt that thing up, it was, you know, it was all set and ready to go. Like, I was just 100% into it. I mean, here's where my kind of decision came from. Is we could, you know, I'm not saying you can't make power with the Magnum, because obviously you can. But the amount of money that you would have to spend to just be making, you know, stock Hellcat power, like 700 horse, you would be well into it for 10 grand, right? And you're talking about building something it's going to cost at least 10 grand. By the time you 408 it, you put all the forged internals in there, you get yourself a set of good heads. You know, the heads are going to be, you know, a pretty penny for good ones that actually flow correctly. And by the time you do all that, pay for all the machine work, pay for an engine builder to assemble it. I mean, I could try to put it together myself, but just to do all that, get all that, and then we're going to have to boost it better than just that small Pro Charger kit. So we would have to probably put a big turbo on it or something. Like, it would have cost a lot of money, and it would have been fast, don't get me wrong, but it wouldn't have been like next level. And it's still, like, when you have something that modified, it's always finicky, right? You're always tinkering with something. Something's always going to break or let go or start leaking or give you an issue, or something's going to fail. No matter what, something's going to fail. And just the fact that we can just skip all that nonsense, take that money that we would have spent going into that build, and then if I had sunk all that money into it and still wanted more power, then all that money would have went to waste. So rather than do all that, since we have Jason's Magnum build, I figured he's got most of the parts that I'm telling you, and we can do that kind of thing with his truck. His is probably going to end up making like 450, 500 wheel, all said and done, which is still no joke. But rather than us with the blue truck spend all that money and do that, I figured just skip that step. We're going to have 707 horsepower, and we're probably going to have more than that right out of the gate. Because you figure we're going to have to put different headers on that, since the ones that are in the Charger or Challenger probably aren't going to work. And there's the swap headers from Hooker Headers. So we're already going to be making more power than 707 right from the get-go. And we'll probably put a different intake on it. So let's just say we're at 720 or 730, whatever the heck the number might be. That's without even tuning it. Then we tune it without doing anything else, and it's going to jump up or probably gain, I don't know, 30, 40 horse just from messing with it, from taking a really conservative tune to more aggressive tune. and then we can pulley swap it, put bigger injectors in it, run E85, and we're making stupid amounts of power above that. So there's so much more room for improvement. Obviously, traction is going to be a huge thing that we're going to have to, deal with. But at the same time, power is not going to be an issue with this new power plant. So I just kind of wanted to do that. The other cool thing too, I don't know if I told you guys this idea. So here's my idea, and I just saw that it looks like Texas 2K is going to be a go for this year or next year. So you guys know Texas 2K is in March. My idea for this truck is to build it, and since it's going to be a 2019 drivetrain, it's pretty much a brand new drivetrain, and it's going to be stock for the first while. It's going to be reliable, and it'll actually probably get good gas mileage, surprisingly. It's not going to get the same gas mileage as that 5.9. It's actually going to have decent, surprisingly. So we might get good gas mileage. It'll be reliable. So with those two factors in mind, what I do want to do is I want to get the truck at some point resprayed the factory blue, the electric blue pearl, or intense blue pearl. And I want to get the whole truck resprayed. I have the snug top tonneau cover. And here's my idea. If that truck's reliable and it's got stock drivetrain in it, we get it all the kinks. What I do want to do is start going to some of these different events. So I was thinking, take my slicks, the Hoosiers, throw them in the back. We got a tonneau cover. I can close it all up. It can be secured. I can drive across the country to some of these different events, take you guys with me, take the camera, and put Boosted Motorsports down the side of it and start making a name for ourselves at some of these tracks. So that's kind of the plan, right? So if it's going to be all stock, it's automatic, it's somewhat comfortable, I can just go to the track, bolt up my slicks. We can go there, probably make some noise. It's probably going to be pretty ridiculous as far as speed goes. And people can start to see the channel, see the builds. The truck will kind of do some advertising for us. So that's my plan. That's what I'm thinking. Because I think it'll be pretty fun to do that. And I'll feel a lot more comfortable with a new drivetrain doing it. Plus, it'll actually be fast for once. So that's my idea. I thought it was a cool idea. I mean, the other idea is to try to get some sort of truck that I could tow with and then put a trailer, but I'd rather be in the truck rather than have the truck on a trailer. I don't know. For some reason, I just feel like it would be less likely to go missing if I was driving it than have it sitting on a trailer and somebody potentially take it. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's the same issue or same risk factor. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm going to have to find a different insurance company too, probably, because I want to get it you can get insurance companies where you can insure something for declared value. Because obviously, once we put that engine and all that stuff in it, if it goes missing for whatever reason, I don't plan on it. I hope that doesn't happen. But if they give us $3,000 or $5,000 for that truck, if I'm lucky, after putting that engine in it, I will be just devastated. It would not be a good situation. So I'm hoping maybe I could find a company that can get insurance for some sort of declared value. But thanks again, Enrique. Thanks again. I hope I'm saying your name right. KJI Nichols. So anyways, thanks to both of you guys for donating. I do appreciate it. Let me scroll through some of your comments because I do want to try to, obviously, when you guys do donate that money, I could take a screenshot for you guys. It pops up and stands up on my screen, so I can really see your guys' comments. But I'll try to get to as many as I can, but I definitely get to the ones that pop out and jump off my screen first, for sure. Plus, these guys are, they're good supporters of the channel too. So let's see where we are. Oh, Gary. Hello, John. What's up, Gary? Thanks for joining us. Black Ram. I have a 4.2 Gen Ram. I have a 4.2 Gen Ram, and I love it, but the SRT truck is awesome. Yeah, no, the SRT 10's fun. If you guys don't know, we've had that since pretty much new, since 2005. So I showed you guys on today's video that it's got pretty much 30,000 miles on it, and I put pretty much those 30,000 on it. So my mom drove it a little bit, but that was about it. So yeah, when you guys ask about, why don't you drive it? Not that I couldn't put it on the road, but it's not on the road right now just because I have way too many vehicles, and I'm not like, you guys can see the amount of, the amount of traffic or subscribers that we have on the channel. It's not crazy yet, but once we get there, then I can afford to put it on the road, or we get rid of one of the vehicles and then I can put it on there. But I don't really like driving that around too much because, I mean, I would drive it to like a car show or an event or something, but to have, to pay the insurance and the registration on that thing just to, drive it once a month, it's just too much right now. So, because I'm not going to drive it to the grocery store and get it door dings and all that, junk on it too. So, and I don't want that thing to go missing because that thing is like, I don't know. Maybe just because I've owned it for so long, or my family's owned it for so long that it doesn't really faze me anymore. But wherever I bring that thing is like gets a ton of attention, almost more than the Viper, I would say. So I just I don't really want to like drive it and go into a store and leave it unattended. It's more like if I was gonna bring it out, I'd probably go to an event or go to a car show or something like that, where I'm not really leaving the truck by itself. Where am I on the comments? Freddie, appreciate your work, John. Thank you, Freddie. Thanks for joining us. Dario, Joshua saying he keeps it fresh and interesting. Joshua, that's sorry. I skipped your comment, Joshua. I started watching your channel and I have stayed around because of all your other content. Yeah, I'm trying to like. Hopefully you guys, I mean, I know I jump around quite a bit between different vehicles, but I do it for a few reasons. One's for my own interest. If I'm working on something all the time, I get bored. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but if I'm working on one truck, like when I work on the Dakota too much, when things keep breaking and breaking and breaking, I get bored. I don't know. So I feel like hopefully it's the same for you guys too, that you guys, like switching it up. I know I jump around from 5 million projects, but we'll work on something, then we need to buy parts for it, and while they wait to come in, stuff gets shipped pretty fast, but still, like, for example, the Hellcat project, right? Like, we are going to have to order a ton of stuff. I already know. It's going to be like stupid little fittings we're going to need. We're going to be waiting for brackets, or we're going to be waiting for oil pan, or we're going to be waiting for a drive shaft to be custom made. Like, so while that happens, we can jump to one of our other projects, and we still have content and stuff to do, right? So hopefully you guys enjoyed the format, but that's the reason why. Pro Charge Mopar. Just bought me an 08 2500 6.7 deleted 5-inch straight pipe emission delete Jasper built transmission, 100K warranty, and only 14K on it. That's a lot. Also, the engine was swapped and only has 190K. Woohoo! Damn, that's all right. I mean, if living over here, if I could drive a deleted diesel, I would, but you guys know how that would go. But yeah, it's like the 5.9, like the 06 is like the last year before they put all that diesel particulate filter and stuff on it. So if I was going to get one over here, I would prefer to get an 06 with the 5.9 on it and just has a catalytic converter, doesn't have DPF on it. Because if I had to get like a newer one and it has DPF on it, those things get so choked up and end up wiping out the turbo. So, but congrats, man. That's awesome. Mr. Oz. Hey, what's up, guys? What's up, Mr. Oz? AG Apprentice. You can get good money for that Dodge truck. It's such a nice truck just to sit in a garage and collect dust. Well, I mean, I do drive it. Like I said, I've put 30,000 miles on it. And it's not like, I don't know, that truck's not like a truck that you just use as a truck. I mean, it's too, like you said, it's too nice to use as a truck. You can't tow with it, really. Like, what the heck are you going to tow with a 6-speed manual? It's just, it's kind of a big car in a sense. So that's kind of the way I treat it. It's not like I'm going to take the friggin' hard top tonneau off it, the color matched one. I'm not going to take that off and leave it off and then just start like hauling wood and lumber back there, or like, it doesn't, like, I don't know. To me, I just feel like that truck is a big car. And it's not the type of thing that you want to like leave it out in the sun, or you want to like, I don't know, you got to decide, right? So if you're saying it's too nice to sit in the garage, but what is it? I don't know. Like, is it too nice to leave it in a Walmart parking lot when you go and do your grocery shopping? Or like, what would you do with it? I don't know. So, like I said, it's not like it's useless. You can obviously drive it, but it's more of like a showpiece than anything. It's more like go to Cars and Coffee, whatever. But I don't have the, I don't have, honestly, like with how much money we're spending on the projects and keeping it interesting, I don't have enough money to pay, the extra $1,000 in registration and all that stuff to keep it on the road, and the extra $100 a month in insurance. It's too much right now, guys. Santa. Great answer, man. I love your content. Keep it up. Thank you, sir. Joy Rock. What's up, Boosties? What's up, man? Nathan. What's up? Texas tapping in. What's up, Nathan? Yeah, we will. If everything goes well, we'll end up at Texas 2K with a Hellcat Dakota. So that is the plan. It is the plan. Pro Charge Mopar. First time to ever drive a diesel was after I paid and left Sonic fast food joint. That's funny. Mr. Oz, so what's going on with the Hellcat engine? I think I probably explained that. I think I probably talked about that before I read the comment. But yeah, I'll have it Monday or Tuesday if all goes well. They're just taking all the rest of the stuff out so I can pick everything all up at once. Rob Roy, I'm up. What's up? What's up, Rob Roy? Rob Roy made it. Kurt, just getting in. Already hit the like button. Thank you, sir. Yeah, you guys give it a thumbs up while you have a chance. It's free, doesn't cost anything, and I know everybody says it. It sounds cliche, but I've said it before. When you give it a thumbs up, it actually triggers to YouTube to show it to other people that aren't already subscribed. So that's the idea behind the thumbs up button. So that way YouTube sees it's good. They'll show it to other people. More people come on. More people that come on. Not to be greedy, but should hopefully bring more money to the channel. And you guys already know that I'm not playing with this thing. I'll spend the money just as fast as it comes in. So yeah. You guys know I'm not messing around. If I say something, that's what I talked about last week on the live, I think it was. Like, hopefully you guys are, getting to know me somewhat. I know this is just YouTube. We don't actually hang out, but hopefully you guys know me in the sense that I pride myself on if I say I'm going to do something, I stick to it. I don't know why, but ever since I was a kid, that always bugged me when people would, tell you that they were going to buy something, or they could have bought this, or they could have, or they should have, or they did. It's like, either if you're going to talk about it, if you're going to say it, if you're going to whatever, just do it. So that's the way I've always been. If I tell you guys I'm going to do something, I'm going to try my damnedest to make it happen. And like I said, I told you guys I was going to Hellcat swap this thing, and here we are. So, and I mean, it's not like no easy thing to do, but like I said, I'm a man of my word. Okay. Hellcat Viper is my vote. Yeah, I think people have talked about that before. I don't think the geometry actually works. I think it's off. Rob Roy says, I know it's not going to happen, but that's a nice idea. Hell yeah, Hellcat and a Viper? Yes, crazy. Patrick says, now you got me wanting to get my 5.7 Hemi built to put in my Dakota. I would do it, man. I would do it. I mean, I could have done that, and there's nothing wrong with doing that, but I just wanted to just jump to the most reliable, highest horsepower engine that could fit in the Dakota. And the Hellcat just seems like a good fit. Plus, it just kind of has a nice ring to it, right? So that's the reason why I went there. I mean, we don't have to buy a supercharger kit. I don't have to build the engine. I don't have to buy fuel injectors. It's just like ready to go. So, Mr. Oz says, nobody did that. Yeah, right. Let's put the Hellcat engine in the Viper. You guys are going back and forth about it. Joshua says, if you go the extra mile with the dash, that would be sick. Yeah, I mean, if I can, we'll see. Like I said, we'll find out this week. No, I'm saying next week, but it's only a few days away. But we'll find out, what I end up getting. If I get all those pieces, like if all the HVAC and all the flap and doors and all that stuff come with it, then we're all set. So we'll find out. We will find out. Mr. Oz, I heard the rear end for the truck heart is pretty good. truck heart. I think you mean the RT rear end. Yeah, the rear end that we have should be pretty strong. I can't say it's gonna necessarily hold up to the beating that we're gonna put on it. Definitely the limited slip is gonna have to be upgraded. So we'll have to do that. And I don't know whether we have to put some, beefed up gears and half shafts and all that stuff. Like the thing's got some miles on it, right? But that's the least of my worries, honestly. Like if I blow up the rear end, it's like I don't know, whatever. I'm not even gonna be mad about it. Like, how can I get mad about it? The truck has like 170,000 miles on it. Oh, that's the other thing too. I want to tell you guys. So I did see and read some comments. Some guys were like, why would you take out the 5.9 Magnum out of your truck? Like, those things are rare. Why would you do that? Why? So let me just give you guys this explanation. So my truck is not like some sort of collector truck. So my Dakota, it has like 170,000 miles on it, I think, something like that, whatever. It's a salvage title, even though I don't think it really had any serious damage. You can see like the hood, I still need to replace the hood. The hood's a little bit bent, and that's why the grill kind of doesn't quite close, and it has like a little crack in it. So it's never been a big priority because I knew I was going to get the truck painted. But at some point I'd have to put a new hood on it and a new grill on it. I already have the grill that Jason gave me, but so yeah, my truck is not like some sort of collector edition truck, so I might as well do what I want to do with it. So that's my opinion. I mean, if my truck was like 20,000 miles, like if it was like the SRT10 where it's got low miles, clean title, flawless type thing, like yeah, okay, then we won't swap the engine out of it, but that's the reason why I'm just like, let's just have fun with this truck. I know it's rare. Like, I know they only made like, I don't know, several hundred or whatever, single cab, intense blue, whatever. But at the same time, I think like I said, isn't my truck isn't a collector example, I guess I should say. Kurt, that sounds pretty cool. You just don't want to get bogged down trying to get all the minor stuff to work. Yeah. So like part of like honestly I was kind of thinking like if anything I would just get the car running, get the engine running. And all the electronics and stuff as long as it's in the vehicle to get it to run. The funny thing is like the Charger has a lot more area and spaces to shove some of these electronics, right? Whereas our Dakota with a single cab, like we have some seriously limited room to try to stuff all this electrical junk, right? So I think honestly, like you and I are thinking on the same path there, Kurt. Like I'm gonna get the thing running, and then once we get it running, then we can start getting a little fancy or whatever you want to call it. Then we can start like trying to stuff a dash in there and trying to get all the little electronics to work, whatever. But for like initially, first things first, like I said. See if the engine starts, all electronics work. Once we accomplish that with the thing on the garage floor, order all the parts to get the engine into the truck. Once it's in the truck, it's going to be, honestly, I'm not worried about fitting the engine in the truck and doing that. I'm just worried about making sure I have the electronics to get that thing to start. That's my biggest concern. Once we get the thing running, we have all electronics, all pieces, everything else to me is downhill. Like, mounting the engine, changing the oil pan, getting a custom drive shaft. That's all just, in my opinion, is just procedure. It's not like anything crazy. It's all possible. Like it's all gonna fit. It's just the electronics is the biggest mystery. Spending that much money up front, and nobody's done the whole electronic system in a Dakota. So I know a lot of people mentioned Greg Snyder. He was the first one to put a Hellcat, as far as we know, a Hellcat engine in the Dakota, which he used the Hellcrate engine controller. So he used the standalone one, which is that one. It's kind of it just works, right? So you don't have to have all the different modules. You get the controller, you get the engine, you hook it up to the engine, and you hook up your key switch or whatever you want. You can have the regularist, most basic key, and it'll start that engine. You could take the two wires and touch them together, and it would start with the Hellcrate. But the way I'm doing it, you have to have all security systems. So that's the more nerve-wracking part. And the reason why I'm doing it that way is because not too many people have figured or have designed or built standalones to run the 8-speed transmission. So I kind of have to go this way. The only other one is that that sounds German sound, whatever, sound German performance or engineering. They're the ones that allegedly make a controller to shift the 8-speed transmission. But I don't personally know of anybody that's used it. And with it running by itself, it's not talking to the engine at the same time. So if it's not able to talk to the engine and see everything else, it won't sit there and modulate the transmission accordingly, right? So that's the other downfall to it. And I think I had that discussion with Greg as well about that. Like, if you go with a standalone engine controller like that sound engineering one, it won't be working in sync with the engine. So, like, for example, if we're probably going to run it with most of the traction control off, but just as an example, if the wheels started spinning, you know, the factory computer, technically speaking, could, you know, cut the power, or it could do something with the transmission to try to like stop the wheel spin. Whereas if we go with a standalone computer, all it's going to care about is where our foot's mounted and how high the RPM is. That's all it cares about. I think that's the two inputs it needed. When I read some of the instructions for that sound engineering, it just had two input wires. It had RPM and throttle position. So it wants to know how much you're mashing the gas, and it wants to know where the RPM is. And then after that, it's going to shift your transmission. So it's just a little bit more primitive, and I'm willing to bet, since they're the only guys that have apparently done that, that it's probably going to be expensive. So that's why, like I said, I'm a little bit anxious, I guess is the best word, to get that thing running. Because if for some reason we're missing a module and the thing doesn't start and I can't get it to start, and then we're talking thousands of dollars more to get that engine to run. So yeah, it's a fun one, you guys. The Hellcat controller is $2,000, and then apparently that sound engineering one runs from $1,000 to $3,000 in that price range. So we're talking we could be, you know, spending $3,000 to $5,000 if that engine doesn't run on the floor with the modules. So that's why I'm just like, please make sure it runs. So, but I'm pretty confident, since we're getting everything, that we should be okay. But that's where we're at. Let me take a drink and get back to some of your comments. Oh, so next question has to deal with exactly what I just talked about from Billy. Billy, so hopefully I answered a lot of that, what your question was, or your comment. Because you can't just get the standalone controller and make it work. That's the problem. That is the problem. The standalone controller won't run the transmission. And having that 8-speed transmission in there is going to be a huge advantage for this setup. Not saying you can't do another transmission or you can't put a manual in there. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is having the 8-speed in there is going to make a big difference getting this thing to go fast. Joyrock, how far do you take it? Full send. Yep, we're full sending this. We're full sending this. Gary, get it all. You only live once. True. You are right, sir. You are right. Yeah, the other reason I was saying, too, is like, you know, with the climate control, right? So if you guys think of it this way, and I'll try to explain it as simple as possible. So the Dakota right now, if you were to walk up to the Dakota and you're in the truck, and say you turned on the AC, right? If you turn on the AC from, you know, the rotary dials, those like primitive dials, it's gonna send a signal to the PCM, so the computer for the truck, for the engine, and it's going to say, hey, you know, this guy inside the truck just turned on the AC, go turn on that AC compressor. And then it's going to send a signal from your PCM through the engine harness to the AC compressor, right? Hopefully everybody follows what I'm trying to say. Whereas once we put this engine in there, that connection between my dial on the dash going to the stock PCM and to the AC compressor to say, hey, turn on the AC compressor, it's not going to be there anymore. So that's what I'm trying to explain. Like, there's gonna be a lot of disconnect there. So we need to kind of either make a compromise or try to decide: are we going all or nothing, or are we, which way are we gonna go with this? Like, there's just a bunch of different examples of that. Here's another one. The fuel, right? The fuel level. So, like I said, I'm gonna have the gauge cluster from the Hellcat, and obviously the fuel levels on that. Well, that system with the wiring is gonna be all self-contained. So once we take out the factory Dakota gauge cluster, the wiring and all the sensors and stuff that go up to the gauge cluster that say, hey, this is how much fuel this guy's got in this truck, how's that going to get to our Hellcat gauge cluster? So what I'm thinking, honestly, is, how I want to see, I'm kind of curious. So I am getting the gas tank, right? I think it would be cool. Like, I don't have a spare tire on that truck. So I'm wondering, the stock Hellcat gas tank, I don't know, it might just be lucky. It might not work whatsoever, but I'm going to look, is if that gas tank would sit where the spare tire is. Because if I can put the stock Hellcat gas tank back there, then I can run the dual pumps from the Hellcat gas tank, and I could keep the factory wiring that goes through the whole car, or was the car, and goes to the gauge cluster, and it's also going to have our fuel level sensors as well, right? So if I retain that, then that means that my gas gauge on the Hellcat cluster would work, right? And we would have all the pumps and everything the same way as the stock Hellcat. Plus, I'm thinking, as far as trying to get this thing to hook up, if I have that weight behind the rear tires, I think it would be an advantage. Plus, it's going to be evenly distributed. I don't know how big that tank is, but I mean, it fits under the rear seats on a Hellcat. So if I could get it to fit between the two frame rails in the back of the Dakota, that would be pretty sweet. It would help with a lot of our weight, because we'd have the weight behind the back tires. Probably help with traction. We could have our gas gauge working. So there's going to be a lot of small things like that, but we can, as they come, we'll work through them and come up with the best solution. So that's just one example. I mean, the other thing too is, there's just a bunch of small stuff, honestly. Like the airbags, for example. If we put the other steering column in there, and we try to put the Hellcat steering wheel on there, we're going to have to get an airbag, obviously, but I don't know that we'd be able to get the Hellcat airbag to work without all the, technology and stuff, and the curtain airbags and all that stuff all connected to that system, whether it would even think about working. So I'm not trying to hardwire no airbags, that's for damn sure. So that's kind of what I'm wondering, is stuff like that, whether it's going to be a thing. And the other thing too is, like, it's gonna have a push button start on it, right? So just another consideration is, I'm thinking the way I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna install the push button start, even if we keep the stock Dakota dash for now, just to get things working. Probably, like, cut out a hole somewhere on the stock dash so that we can have the push button start. And I'm thinking, like, the key fob, right? Have the key fob, and then have the just standard key to open the door, and then once you get inside, then it's push to start. I'm thinking that's probably the easiest way to do all that. I don't know, maybe leave the original steering wheel on there, but I don't know. I gotta dig into electronics. This is gonna be a big job, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not worried about it. As long as the engine starts, we'll deal with all this knickknacks later. But let me see what else you guys are saying. I'll try to get through as many of your comments as I can. Nathan, it was definitely a farm truck. I know, right? Doc, are you going to be keeping the SRT rims when you do the Hellcat swap? I think you mean like the rims that I have on it right now, right? So those are actually, those are Viper wheels that are on the Dakota currently. But for now, we'll be keeping those ones. Brandon, that was one bog cleanup job. Oh, big cleanup job. Yeah. No, it was bad when we first got it. It was a nasty truck, but we cleaned her up. Joshua, would love to see a video on how you source your parts. I can show you guys if we have time tonight. I can poke around and show you guys how I source parts. Brandon, was it over 10? Oh, as far as the swap, yeah, it was. And then AG says 15, 20 grand. You guys are getting warmer, but we'll see. We'll see where she ends up. Brandon says put in the S2k. I know, right? I don't think it would fit. Actually, somebody fit in the Miata, so I guess it would fit. Skills. Do you live in Riverside County? Yes. Also, did you sell the S2k? No. I still have the S2000. It is for sale for the right price. I'm not really in a hurry to get rid of it, but if somebody offers me some decent money, I'll definitely let it go. Skills. I saw your S2k for sale a few months ago. Is that real? Yeah, that's my ad. Doc, I have a supercharged 6.7 Dakota. He's not joking on the cost. Yeah, like I said, there's nothing wrong with doing that. I'm not bashing anybody that's gone that route. I'm just saying, like, if you go that route, you're gonna burn a hole in your pocket that way. And if I already know for myself that I want more power than going that route, I don't want to spend all that money just to bail on the Magnum platform. So part of the problem is, and I think I've explained this before too, is the reason I don't want to get caught with my foot when I was saying this because I know there's more experts than I am on the Magnum stuff. So there's the SpinTech headers, right? You know how there's the adapter plates. Well, the reason why there's the adapter plates is they're trying to get out of that small Magnum bolt pattern or flange pattern that comes off the heads. That's essentially the reason. And the reason why I say that is that's like the biggest bottleneck on these Magnums is the exhaust ports and the flange layout with the bolt pattern. If you look at them, they're like both bolts are right this, and you have this tiny little opening for the exhaust to come out. And when you're talking like 5.9, pretty much a 6-liter engine coming out of the smallest exhaust port in the world, you can't put a large enough runner on it, like exhaust, and it's choking the actual cylinder head for the exhaust to come out. So part of the reason why people like do the SpinTech headers is to get away from that pinched off bolt pattern so you can put a bigger, nicer header on there. But you're still having to go through that little bottleneck, and that's part of the biggest problem. So unless you get somebody to, unless you try to switch over to the older stuff, like the LA, I think has a slightly bigger bolt pattern, which I think is also the SpinTech pattern. Unless you go to something like that where it gives you a bit more room where you can open up the exhaust ports, or you get a custom, you somehow make your own heads and maybe your own headers and drill outside of those bolt holes for the headers so that you can actually get some exhaust flow out of this thing. So it's kind of like I said, I'm not saying you can't make power out of it, but it's kind of an inefficient platform because you're stuck with that silly exhaust port layout. So, like I said, it can be done, but I don't want to spend the money on the Magnum platform when I want to, make more power than that. Mr. Magoo, smash the like button, guys. Yeah, we have 89 people in here with only 42 likes, so stop being stingy and give me one of these. Come on, guys. I held up my end of the bargain. I got a Hellcat swap coming. You guys can hold up your free end of the bargain and give me one of these. So do it. What are you waiting for? I'm going to read these comments while you guys take a second to give me one of those. Deal? Deal. Hopefully don't mess up your name. Juanito Blaze. I got a 2006 quad cab SRT10 with American Racing long tube headers running on E85. I can't find the Brembo brake and caliper kit for my truck. Can you send me a link? What do you mean by the Brembo brake and caliper kit? Do you mean like yours are seized? Like, do you mean your pistons are seized? Because that's a common issue. If you guys saw my how-to video on the SRT10 changing the pistons on the calipers. If that's what you mean, let me know. I can lead you in the right direction. Mr. J Magoo, 55 people watching and 28 likes. Hit the button. I know. People are being stingy with these. See, even people in the comments are pointing out you guys are being stingy with thumbs ups. Brandon says, yeah, that would be horrible. Juanito, freeway insurance and get it appraised. That's what I did. Yeah, I'm going to have to do something like that for sure. Jackson Racing, stop being stingy with them likes. See? I'm not even bringing it up anymore. Everybody else is noticing stinginess. Trevor I'm going to mess up your last name, so I'm just going to say Trevor. How should I run my dual exhaust? DIY what muffler? I don't know what engine you're running. I would assume if you're hanging out with us lately, it's probably going to be some sort of V8 or Magnum. That's all personal preference. You guys know what I like. I'm liking that kind of modern muscle sound lately. So I've been putting a lot of Hellcat and Scat Pack mufflers on things. Oh, it's pronounced Kai, I think. Kai Nichols. Okay, hopefully I didn't botch your name. I'm sorry, man. I'm doing my best here. So thanks again, Kai. DePass Productions. Hey, man, I saw you at Chipotle a couple of months ago. Why didn't you say hi, man? What the heck? Yeah, I'm a pretty friendly guy, I think. I like to think, at least. Hybrid Gaming. I don't know what you're saying, so I'm not going to read that. Tinker, any suggestions on trans for a 5.7 swap 4x4? That's a hard one. That is a hard one. I would just use I don't know what year your truck is, so I would just try to go with something factory around then. Something that's going to be plug and play. That would be my biggest or best suggestion. If you're doing something older school, like, for example, if you have like an 05 Ram, or I don't know what you have, but if you had something like that, I would think that, you know, the transmission, the stock transmission out of a 05 Ram would be sufficient. So other than that, I would probably try to go with something a little more old school where you don't need electronics on it, because otherwise you're going to be dealing with some of the same nonsense that I'm dealing with. Todd Miller, I'm sure I missed you saying anything. Oh, what? But have you discussed how much you're going to sell the 5.9 Magnums for? Yeah, I guess I can get into that here. I don't like, you know, blurting out prices and stuff online or trying to. My YouTube is not a classified ads, right, guys? So if you guys are interested, send me a message. We'll try to work something out or whatever. And we'll keep it that way. I don't want to like, you know, say prices on here, and then if something changes or, you know, somehow words get twisted or whatever, I would just rather, if you guys are interested, send me a message. There's plenty of ways to do it. You can send me on Facebook. You can send me on Instagram. You can email me. Get a hold of me, and if you guys are serious and you're local is the other thing, I'm not going to ship that engine. If you guys are local to Southern California and you want to pick up the engine, and try to work something out. But yeah, I'll do it that way, because there's been a ton of people hitting me up for the engine, you guys. So, and like I said, I'm not trying to. How do I say this? I spent a ton of money on the Hellcat swap, right? So I need to try to recoup as much money as I can out of the stuff that I have. So I'm not like some sort of baller where I can, you know, just afford to give it away, or, you know, it's free, or it's like, you know, whatever. I gotta try to get my money back out of the stuff that I put it in, because I spent way more than the Magnum stuff is worth on the Hellcat stuff. So just to keep everything flowing, I gotta get my money out of it, you guys. So I'm sure you guys can understand. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that stuff. So if you guys are interested, get a hold of me one way or another. And yeah, if you're serious, you can come down. Like I said, the engine's still in the truck. Oh, I gotta tell you guys. So there was a Mopar event tomorrow, this Saturday, but it got canceled because all the masks and whatever. You guys already know. So it got canceled because of that. But I found out that there is still an event running at Irwindale Drag Strip on Sunday. So I think Patrick's in here, right? I'm pretty sure it's the same Patrick. But I know there's a few of you guys that are somewhat local. I'll be at Irwindale on Sunday. So if you guys are down, come out there. You know, you can pit with me, whatever. Like, I'm totally cool with all that stuff. I think it'd be awesome. like come down, whatever. We can run. I don't know if you're allowed to put passengers in. I don't care. You can sit in the passenger seat if you're interested in the engine. I'll be at Irwindale beating on that engine all day long. So, I mean, that engine works good, you guys. It doesn't smoke. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't eat any oil. Like it's a fresh engine. So, like I said, when I bought that engine, they said it was rebuilt. So, I mean, some people lie, but that engine doesn't use any oil. It's strong. It has really good compression. So if anyone's interested, the engine's still running in the truck, but um, as long as kind of the way it's going to go is this week, as long as I can get that engine, the Hellcat engine running, then I'm going to pretty much just yank the 5.9. So that's pretty much the way it's going to go. As long as I have a buyer for it, because that garage, that shop is going to get crowded, if you can imagine. So we're going to have a Hellcat swap. I still have that other spare engine sitting there. And if we yank the motor out of the Dakota, there's going to be 3 engines trying to fit with all the other stuff in there. You guys have already seen the video. It's kind of tight with all the different stuff we have in there. So I'd like to try to line up a buyer for the engine, or at least a spare engine, both engines, so that when I yank it all out, I still have room to work. But yeah, like I said, if I can get that engine, the Hellcat engine running, then it's pretty much ready to come out. So that should be this week that we. If you're a serious buyer, you should be able to come get the 5.9 that's in my truck, this week. Or if you want the spare engine that I have, you can come get it whenever. Just hit me a message. Ben P, hey, what's going on? Dropped a like. I'm not sure how long I'll be here. Feeling a bit under the weather. Uh-oh, hope you feel better, man. Stay away from that Rona. Love the Hellcat swap. I seen an SRT10 drive by my house the other day here in BC, Canada. Nice. That's nice to see there's still those vehicles up there too. But hope you feel better, man. Thanks for at least stopping in. Hopefully you're still here, still with us. I know I'm trying to work my way through these comments. Doc, Patrick, buy my 6.7 motor. Do it. That'd be awesome. Tank stories. Who built the cages, Joe? That's funny. Joshua, signing off after midnight Eastern. Nice to see go over 80 people watching at this point. Keep it up. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. David Coronado, how much faster does the Viper feel? I have one and thinking on doing heads cam, but Supercharger seems tempting. We're still working through the tune. I had a revision tonight that from FRP we threw in there. I'm trying to get it really dialed in before I really beat on it, as you guys could probably understand. So it's just every car is different a little bit, and it's taken quite a few revisions to get it dialed in. But I'm to the point where I can pretty much floor it. It still needs to be cleaned up a little bit. We're just kind of cleaning up the final details and stuff. As far as how much faster it feels, it's only running like 5-6 pounds, which is kind of lame. I agree, but that's what Rose said we should run on the cast pistons. I think we could probably get away with a little bit more, and I might honestly put a smaller pulley on it and turn things up a notch. But it's only running 5-6 pounds, so technically speaking, back of the napkin type math. Most people will say like running 5-6 pounds, you usually get like 20 horse per pound of boost. So whatever, we want to say added 100 to 120 horsepower more. So technically that's what it feels like, and I think that's pretty accurate. Like it's not like I shouldn't say a lot of fast cars, but I've had some serious fast cars in my history, in my past. So it feels good, don't get me wrong, but it's not like this thing's gonna light the world on fire fast. Does that make sense? And like I said, once I finally get the tune fully dialed in and I can fully bang the gears, I think it'll be fast. And the other thing too, guys, is I still have the stock 307 rear end in it. I did put the 373s in there at one point, and they were in there for a while, but the bearings went out of that diff because it was sitting on the shelf so long. So I have a factory Mopar Performance diff for the Viper, and I threw it in there, but it had been sitting on the shelf for like 15-20 years. and I put oil in it. Everything looked brand new, and the bearings got wiped out of it. So nothing broke inside of it, but it was just making noise. So I took it out. Whatever It Takes Transmission sent me a bearing kit and seal kit. I just got to get around to putting that back together. So I'm going to put the 373s back in the Viper with the supercharger, and then we're going to be talking business then. That thing is going to, like, break neck. So when we're talking that kind of, like, I mean, it's not, like, crazy power, but the power to weight ratio with the supercharger and the 373s, plus I've got the ACR Kumos, the 355 wide tires in the back, is gonna be nuts. So that's when I'll be like, okay, this thing feels like a monster. I mean, it's still fast, but just the gears are so long. In my opinion, like I'm used to the S2000 where you're shifting every 2 seconds, and I had a 607 wheel horsepower S2000, which is like 700 crank in something that weighed 2,200 pounds. And that was when I was like 19 years old. So that's my benchmark. I still haven't built anything that fast since then. 607 horsepower at the wheels, guys, in a 2,200 pound car. That's my reference for speed, and the Viper is not that. And I don't even think the Dakota will be quite that, because that was just, the power to weight ratio was nuts. But if we can get this channel to keep rocking, I'll keep doing crazy projects. I kind of would like to, at some point, if we could like twin turbo the Viper, if this channel generated enough, enough money, I guess I should say, where I could send the Viper off to get it twin turbo, like all those nasty twin turbo ones, I would do it in a heartbeat. But unfortunately, the channel's not there yet. It's not there yet, but one day, right? One day, if you guys stop being stingy and give me a thumbs up, 102 people, 56 likes, man, that's it, you guys. We're done. We're done with his lives. All right, let me read some of your comments. I'm just joking. We're not done. We're not done. Roberto, thumbs up. Thanks, man. Yeah, give me one of those thumbs ups. Jack Phillips, hi. I can hear you. That's good. That's good. That's good. Todd, got my Gen 2 17-inch Viper wheels in today and gonna install them and tires on my Durango build tomorrow. Also, I gave my like when I came in. Thanks, man. No, that'll look good, man. That'll look good. Where am I on the comments here? All good, brother. Kai said, all good, my brother. My parents knew I was going to be... wanted to give me a challenge. Nah, you're good, man. You're good. Todd Miller. You can email me if you want a price and we can discuss it further. I don't know if that's to me. I don't know what you're selling. I don't know what you're selling, man. I don't know what you're selling. Anyways, Jordan, great content. About to do a Hellcat swap on my first gen Durango. Whew, that'd be crazy. Gonna keep following to see how it works out for you. Yeah, it's like I said, you can go one of the two ways right now. Hellcat standalone crate kit but I will tell you guys, something weird is going on right now because the Hellcat crate kit, so the PCM, it's right now it's discontinued. So I have two suspicions. Either with all the nonsense in the world going on, Dodge just said, yeah, this isn't a priority. Let's, whatever. Maybe they got back ordered or whatever. Or they're coming out with a new version of their standalone, PCM that will actually run the transmission. So that's why it's kind of nerve-wracking right now. So either, like I said, either Dodge is going to release a version that will actually run their 8-speed transmission, or they're just, it's not a priority for them. They're not going to make it at all. I don't know which one it is, but if you're thinking of doing the Hellcat swap, just know that the Hell Crate PCM is discontinued right now. So there's still some of them out there, but once they're gone, they're gone. And I don't know if Dodge is coming out with a new version of it anytime soon that can replace it or that can run the transmission too. Oh, Todd's talking about the engine. I'm not local, but have friends over there that could ship to me. I'm gonna pro charge the one in my Durango right now. Then I want to build a pro charge 410 stroker and build a 410 stroked twin turbo. Holy, that is a lot. Well, Todd, you can. I'll just leave my email in here. Like, there's no reason why I can't put my email here. boostedmotorsports88@gmail.com. If anybody's seriously interested in the engine, there's my email, Facebook, Instagram, however you want to get a hold of me. I don't know what you guys are interested in, but send me a message. I'll let you know what's up. Cody. Hey dude, love the channel. I have a 1994 Dakota 5.2 318. Got the stock training rebuilt with thicker gears. Thicker gears? As far as I know. Would cams and header be a good idea for more power? Yes, it would be a good idea. Just depends what your budget is and what your goal is. It just depends. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of both, right? I'm trying to think, like, I don't know, my thought process went off on a tangent. It's like, you could put heads and cam, and you can make more power. You probably make, like, realistically, like, maybe 50 horse or so with the heads and cam. Or actually, you're 318, so, ooh. Yeah, I mean, probably in that ballpark, maybe a little less. But, I mean, you can do that, or you can force air down its throat. It's kind of one or the other. Like I said, these Magnums don't really breathe that well, so the other way to get around the breathing is to shove air down their throat and make it breathe. It just depends. Like, the cam is cool, right? Like, it sounds cool, and like, my truck's not that fast, honestly, but it sounds cool, right? Versus if you were gonna boost it, you would get the cool supercharger noises, but you're not gonna get like the lumpy idle V8 whole thing going on. It really depends what you prioritize. You can make power either way. And I mean, if you got a used supercharger kit for $1,500 or $2,000, it'd probably be cheaper than doing the heads and the cam. Because just a good cam with some springs is going to cost you like $700 at least, without gaskets and all the other junk to go along with it. And yeah, and then the heads, you already know how much heads are going to be. You're going to be $1,500 easy. So plus head gaskets $100. It adds up quick. So just think whether what your goals are, I guess, really. Nathan, I finally was able to tune into a stream. Woohoo! What's up, Nathan? Hopefully you're still with us. Rob Roy, 5 pounds is better than none. I know, but 10 pounds is better than 5. Oh, I really want to turn up the boost on that Viper. But for now, we'll leave it. David, thanks for the answer. Mine is a 98, so I have the better pistons, but I kind of want it in a 600 horsepower. I have 470 wheel horsepower at the moment. Yes, do the twin turbo like Nth Moto with the 3100 wheel. I know, that car, the Nth Moto car, if you guys don't know, that car has 3100 wheels horsepower, and it's the exact same car as mine. It's pretty much my car. It's red, silver, Viper Gen 2. But if you guys don't know that Nth Moto one, it has a 5th gen Viper motor in it. So they're showing off their 5th gen motor capabilities in a Gen 2. So, but I mean, that build has got to be something silly, right? Like, you're probably talking like $100,000 under the hood of that car. Which, I mean, it's cool, but I don't have that kind of money. Not yet. There you go. Positive attitude, you guys. Not yet. Honestly, if I had that kind of money, I don't think I would do it. I could. What I really think would be cool is to get a salvage title Ferrari and wide body. I don't know why. That's like the child in me coming out. Salvage title Ferrari off Copart. That's all messed up, the whole body, and just put a crazy wide body kit on it and make it all crazy looking. I think that would be cool. Yeah, so David, you could do boost. Oh, one other I should mention. David, if you are interested in supercharging your car, I have some extra parts for a Viper. I don't know if any other Viper guys are in here. I have the whole plenum, and I have the whole top plate. So I have a whole manifold for a supercharger kit for a Viper. So if anybody's interested in that, and I have the injectors, and I have 2 different engine management systems as well. So I've got some parts for a supercharger. So if you want, technically speaking, you could use the manifold that I have, and you could buy a supercharger, bolt it on, and do your piping and your fuel rails, and you could piece together your own supercharger kit. Because if you guys don't know, that supercharger kit that I have, that row one, it's discontinued. So yeah, David, if you're interested in that, I have that for. I'm gonna be putting it up on eBay actually. But if you're interested, I could sell it to you if it's something you want. Todd, got it, Bubba. Okay. Rob Roy, Hellcats and Vipers. I wish those were my problems. They could be. Rob Roy, how fast is the truck after the cam swap, by the way? I think you're talking about the Blue Dakota, right? So, okay. Let's see if we're back.